The christening and naming of the ORP Witcher, a great success for the Polish Navy. It will be manned by 140 sailors and officers, and during operations the crew could number as many as 180. A premium brand car consists of 30,000 parts, while this ship consists of over 1 million parts. A success in whose glow Donald Tusk was happy to bask. Here behind me, steel, naval guns, engines, modern technologies and the best radars weigh far more than slogans and political catchphrases. This is the result of a decision by the Law and Justice government. On July the 27th, 2021, Minister Mariusz Błaszczak signed a contract for 3 frigates to be built in Poland. The Prime Minister, not for the first time, trumpeted the success initiated by the United Right government. It took on concrete form in July 2021, and it was then that this project, which extends far beyond the maritime horizon, was created. Credit must be given to Law and Justice for initiating these major shipbuilding projects, because there had been no such initiative before. Now this government is finishing these projects and reaping the rewards. ORP Witcher is the first of 3 new generation frigates being built as part of the Miecznik program. This type of military force had been forgotten. Something extraordinary happened in July 2021. Something extraordinary for the Polish armed forces and for the Polish shipbuilding industry. The result of these efforts is none other than ORP Witcher. It has enormous capabilities in terms of air and missile defense, featuring state-of-the-art radar technologies designed for operations at sea. It also guarantees security in the air and on land. Donald Tusk puffs out his chest as he receives his medals and boasts about the development of the shipbuilding industry. I'm also proud that, despite the naysayers and some complainers, the Polish shipbuilding industry is thriving in Gdynia, in Gdańsk, and we're building it in Szczecin as well. It's worth recalling, however, that the Szczecin shipyard was shut down in 2009, when Donald Tusk himself was Prime Minister. It's just disheartening, and it's a tragic picture of what we've ended up with by closing down this shipyard, a mighty industry. Magdalena Sobkowiak-Czarnecka went even further in her speech, praising Tusk for the development of the shipbuilding industry in the Tri-City. And here I'd like to remind you that before Miecznik's idea came along, there was your decision that the shipbuilding industry had to return to the Tri-City in all its glory. In her speech, the minister said that if it weren't for them, there would be no shipbuilding industry in the Tri-City, and that it flourished during their time in office. No, no, no. In 2015, when Law and Justice took power, the naval shipyard was in the process of legal liquidation and was slated to simply cease to exist. Today, the management of this sector is such that even a Chinese robot has access to the naval port in Świnoujście. The military counterintelligence service inspectorate in Gdynia is responsible for providing counterintelligence protection for this key facility of the Polish Navy. It is headed by Commander Daniel Pożarski, a former soldier of the military intelligence services known for booze-fueled revelry with Russian FSB officers in Kadin. Just as with the issue of the Polish shipbuilding industry, the same is true for other defense investments. The current Minister of National Defense, Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz, not long ago boasted about the purchase of the F-35, but had previously stated that he saw no need for it. We must halt the construction of the Central Transportation Port. We must put the purchase of the F-35 on hold. You'll be welcoming these F-35s alongside the President. In April 2020, you said that this should be postponed because there are more important matters. This has been taken out of context. What's more, Richard Schnepp, a former ambassador to the United States, claimed that Soviet aircraft are better than American fighter jets. The former Polish ambassador to the United States criticized the purchase of American fighter jets. On TVN, he argued that Soviet Su-55 aircraft are better and half the price of the F-35. He cited a Russian propaganda website to support his claim. The same was true in the case of the purchase of 96 Apache helicopters. Politicians from the Civic Coalition criticise this idea. We're buying 96 Apaches. That number in particular really makes me wonder. Is that too many? You know what? The experience of the war in Ukraine shows that helicopters are effective only in a transport role. Now Donald Tusk, standing in front of a helicopter, is announcing his success. These 96 Apaches, one of them is standing right here behind us. It's the largest fleet of its kind in the world, excluding the United States States and the largest in Europe. When you don't have your own successes, you boast about other people's. That's indecent, and we're dealing with people who are extraordinarily indecent. It seems that Donald Tusk changes his mind faster than the wind of change blows. The Polish diaspora living in France is estimated at as many as 1 million people, while 80,000, a significantly smaller number, are Poles, that is, people with Polish passports, who live here in France. The beginning of this great emigration, as it has become to be known, dates back to 1831, that is, the November Uprising. And it was precisely after this uprising that a large number of Polish artists, writers, activists and musicians left for France, because France at that time fostered a welcoming environment for the Polish Great Emigration. It did so semi-officially, since it never officially took a stand in support of Poland, which incidentally did not even exist on the map until 1918. And although this is a beautiful legacy, today in France there is no welcoming atmosphere for the Polish diaspora. The French government does not want to openly side with the pro-independence emigration, while the Polish government has openly sided with the other side. A spectacular scandal has just unfolded in Paris. French police entered the Polish veterans' home and threw the Poles out onto the street. We're talking about the legendary building named after General Władysław Anders, purchased after the war with funds from the Polish government in exile and contributions from our soldiers. The property is now valued at over 30 million euros. And although the Poles are listed on the mortgage, the court issued an order for immediate eviction in favor of a group of shrewd individuals who are attempting to seize the property through legal loopholes. The historic General Władysław Anders Polish Veterans House in Paris and the association that operates it are going through a dramatic time. The building on Legendre Street, purchased after World War II with funds from the Polish government in exile and for decades the heart of the Polish community life in France, has now become the subject of a legal dispute. On Tuesday, the Veterans Association was evicted pursuant to a French court ruling. The incident has stirred up strong emotions among the Polish community, which fears the loss of one of the most important symbols of Polish history in exile. I feel very distressed following today's forceful intervention by the French police, called in by Apollonius Serafin, a distinguished former intelligence agent of the Polish People's Republic's secret services operating in France, whose operational code name was Polo. For years, this agent has been a favorite in the circles of the Polish embassy in Paris, constantly being awarded state crosses and medals. How did Apollonius Serafin's organization convince the French authorities that the veterans' home should be taken away from the association responsible for its protection? Apollonius Serafin, operational codename Polo, Agent Polo, and the AFA-FP organization of which he is the president, filed a petition with a Paris court based on illegally fabricated documents seeking recognition, contrary to the entries in the Paris Land Registry, that they, and not the Polish veterans, are the owners of the magnificent Parisian Polish Veterans House. Without verifying the facts with the Paris Land Registry, the court issued a ruling ordering the transfer of the house to Agent Polo's AFA-FP organization. A unit of the French police was personally summoned today by AFA-FP Secretary General Barbara Michałowska. The Polish embassy in Paris did not defend the Veterans Association. Instead, it sided with Apollonius Serafin's association. On Tuesday, a unit of the French police arrived at the Veterans House and evicted the veterans from the historic Polish Veterans House in Paris. The eviction took place even though the first instance court's ruling is not yet final. The veterans are embittered. This is a scandal and a disgrace for France. It also represents a historic embarrassment for the Polish authorities in Warsaw and the Republic of Poland's diplomatic service around the world.
The Sun, the star closest to us in the center of the solar system. It is responsible for nearly all the energy reaching our planet. Suffice it to say that as many as 1.3 million Earth-sized planets fit inside it. Even though it is 150 million kilometers away from us, it has a huge impact on us. It is a massive sphere of heated, extremely hot gas, and inside it, thermonuclear reactions take place that heat the gas, which generates energy. astronomy. The sun is essential for life. At the Jagiellonian University Astronomical Observatory in Kraków, scientists study the universe on a daily basis. This, of course, includes the sun, as Dr. Elżbieta Kuligowska emphasizes. Total eclipses at a specific location on Earth are a very rare phenomenon. They occur once every few hundred years. However, the situation is different on a global scale. They often occur over oceans. After all, oceans cover 70% of the Earth's surface, which is why there are so few of these eclipses in any given location. Total eclipses occur once every few hundred years, but partial eclipses, such as the one we're seeing today, actually occur in Poland every year or two. Dr. Paweł Janowski from the Department of Physics and Computer Science at AGH University of Kraków has been popularizing science for years. He reminds us that when observing today's phenomenon, we must keep safety in mind. Even when most of the sun's disk is obscured, looking at it without proper protection can damage your eyesight. Regular sunglasses are not enough. You need special glasses or filters designed for observing the sun. We do not use any smoke glass plates, CDs, old floppy disks, X-rays, or anything else for this purpose, because even though the image of the sun is darker and less light reaches our eyes, these items do not block infrared or ultraviolet radiation, the very rays that can damage our eyes. The eclipse began in Poland after 7 p.m. The extent of the phenomenon varies by region. It is most spectacular in northwestern Poland, where more than 80% of the sun's disk will be covered. In central Poland, it will be about 70%, and in the southeast, about 60%. A total eclipse has already occurred in Iceland, followed by Spain and Portugal. We've set up a space for telescopes and a viewing platform for anyone who wants to observe this extraordinary phenomenon.
Well, I think it must be thrilling to see like the darkness come, suddenly, and the image of the sun being like disappearing should be thrilling.
And when the sun sets, it's worth continuing to look up at the sky. Tonight, the Perseids, one of the most famous meteor showers, will reach their peak. They are responsible for August's so-called night of shooting stars, though they are actually cosmic particles. As it travels through space, Earth encounters the remnants of Comet 109P Swift-Tuttle. This comet has broken apart into tiny particles, which then enter Earth's atmosphere, and that is when we see this glowing trail. Under good conditions, you can spot as many as several dozen meteors per hour. This year, observers will have an additional ally, a completely dark sky. Because there won't be a moon. Since the moon blocked our view of the sun at the end of the day, that means it's a new moon. In other words, it won't be visible in the night sky, so that makes it all the better for watching shooting stars. You don't need a telescope or binoculars to watch them. It's best to head out of town, find a spot away from streetlights and other sources of artificial light. Give your eyes a moment to adjust to the darkness and admire the beauty of the world and the universe.